Saitama's abilities, One Punch Man. Saitama is the titular One Punch Man and the strongest, fastest, and most durable character in the series. So far, no enemy has been able to injure him in any way, and almost no enemy has been able to survive a single earnest punch from him. A few enemies have survived punches from him, such as any human he struck, whom he restrains himself against, and Boros, whom Saitama empathized with and held back against so as to give himself and Boros a satisfying and stimulating fight. Saitama's only power is that his body is far beyond human limits, allowing him to achieve astounding physical feats. His strength is so great that it vastly eclipses even artificial beings designed or bred specifically for superhuman combat, such as mechanical beings or the mutated warriors from the House of Evolution. Since no enemies have posed any real challenge to Saitama yet, the upper bound of his strength is likely even higher than it currently appears. While his power is only limited to heightened human traits, he can't fly or fire energy blasts, his superhuman abilities more than compensate for the lack of variety in his powers. The origin of Saitama's immense strength is mysterious and unclear. Although he tells everyone he got his incredible power through mere physical training, no one believes him at all. According to Saitama, after a year and a half of 100 daily push-ups, sit-ups, and squats, plus a 10-kilometer daily run, he had achieved some level of superhuman strength. This training was apparently so intense for Saitama that he at times felt he might die, and claims that it's what caused all of his hair to suddenly and eventually fall out. Genos believes that Saitama himself doesn't actually know or understand how he gained his power, and hopes to learn the secret by sparring with and observing him, while Dr. Genus believes that Saitama worked out with said training regimen so hard that he had removed his limiter. It should be noted that Saitama would complete all parts of the training one after the other without breaks, and was battling monsters that appeared during that time, which would have made completing the training more intense than it would normally be expected. Despite his unbelievable physical prowess, Saitama can be outperformed by people with skills in areas outside fighting, like when he was bested by Bang in a game of rock paper scissors or defeated by King in video games, mostly in one-sided matches. Furthermore, he also seems to possess a normal human appetite, as he lost to Genos in a spicy noodle eating contest. Not to mention, he was originally a C-class hero because his academic abilities were lacking, causing him to get a 21 out of 50 on the written portion of the hero examination. Welcome to the Imagi. In today's video, we're going over Saitama's abilities. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Unparalleled Strength. Saitama possesses seemingly limitless physical strength and is capable of effortlessly defeating powerful monsters and villains with a single, nonchalant punch, although this strength isn't limited to punches. Saitama's punch is so powerful that many enemies simply explode when struck. He's also shown to be able to effortlessly destroy walls and buildings. An example of this casual yet overwhelming offensive power occurs when Saitama launches himself from the top of a building, blasts right through a giant meteor with a punch, lands safely, and just calmly decides to go home. Another instance is when Sonic tries to slice Saitama's head in half with a sword, but Saitama stops the sword by catching it with his teeth, effortlessly shattering the blade with the power of his jaw. When launched from Earth to the Moon by a strike from Boros, he used his jumping power to return to Earth in mere moments, causing a huge shockwave and immense tremors on the surface of the Moon upon departure, as well as on Boros' ship upon landing. A quote-unquote normal punch from him was shown to be very fatal, even to someone as durable as Boros. A single quote-unquote serious punch from him was able to counter Boros' strongest attack, Collapsing Star Roaring Cannon, an attack capable of wiping out the entire Earth's surface. Saitama completely negated the attack using his serious punch, while a shockwave from the punch was also powerful enough to part clouds on a global scale. Basically, Saitama is capable of destroying the Earth if he wanted to. Yep. His strength has been stated by numerous characters to defy reason. Enhanced Leap. Saitama's inability to fly is somewhat compensated by his immense leg strength, allowing him to leap tremendous heights and distances at high speeds. This can be seen when Saitama smashed his head through the ceiling of a gymnasium during the hero tryouts simply by jumping. He was also able to smash a building into its foundation just by leaping off of its roof. His greatest feat in this regard, however, is when he leaped from the surface of the Moon and ended up back on Earth at a specified point, leaving a crater on the Moon's surface in the process. He's also able to jump while still in the air, adjusting his angle of ascent or descent thanks to his amazing power. Shockwave Generation. As shown in his practice bout with Genos, Saitama can control and direct his power in the form of a massive shockwave that comes from his punches. He uses this to show Genos a glimpse of his true power, but stops it before actually punching Genos, with the shockwave from the attack completely annihilating the mountain behind him. Unparalleled speed and reflexes. Saitama was able to complete a 1500-meter dash in an instant during his hero tryouts. He's proven able to effortlessly keep up with Speedosound Sonic, who can move at above hypersonic speeds. Even Genos' computerized targeting systems have difficulty tracking him. Saitama once bit Sonic's sword at such great speed, Sonic didn't even know what happened. Saitama has also shown the ability to run down a building to save a piece of salmon he was having for lunch, and leap back up said building without bystanders noticing he had even done so. His speed is so impressive that he can even outpace the likes of Flashy Flash, easily dodging his sword swings. When kicked to the moon by Boros' attack, Saitama returned to Earth in mere seconds, which shows that Saitama can even travel at sub-relativistic speeds. Saitama also easily blocked Geryugan Shoop's near light-speed rocks, the speed of which being like a bad joke to him. Ironically, despite his incredible reflexes and speed, he still has problems squishing a simple mosquito. Afterimage Creation. Saitama's speed allows him to create afterimages of himself. He first used this during his training bout with Genos. He was also able to create an infinite amount of afterimages during his fight with Speedosound Sonic. Immeasurable Dexterity. Saitama is capable of moving any of his limbs at extremely fast speeds without flinching, not stopping until his target is completely obliterated. This is seen when Saitama flawlessly whacks all the moles in a whack-a-mole machine during the Hero Association exam. Immeasurable Agility. Saitama has been shown to be perfect at dodging and able to perform highly acrobatic maneuvers. Saitama's reflexes render him flexible enough to move through the narrowest creeks and dodge attacks at the closest proximity. Saitama is also able to perform parkour, which he can couple with fighting movements as shown in his flashbacks. Immense Stamina. Saitama has never been shown to tire out when fighting enemies. Even when unleashing a punch more powerful than a planet-destroying attack, Saitama showed no signs of fatigue. The only time in which Saitama was shown to be panting and out of breath, he recovers just seconds later. Immeasurable Senses. Saitama's senses are far beyond the human norm. He possesses impressively sharp hearing, being able to pick up on various chatter from bystanders a good distance away even while fighting monsters and the like. Invulnerability. Saitama can withstand blows from extremely powerful beings such as Carnage Kabuto without suffering a single scratch or feeling any pain. No character has been able to damage or even physically harm Saitama. When Genus created a huge spherical blast of flame to kill Mosquito Girl's mosquitoes, Saitama remained standing right next to him completely unharmed, unperturbed, and very dirty. Though his clothes were burnt, so that's the clothes, that's your fault, Genos. He also survived being kicked to the moon by Boros in his fully powered state, and going from the Earth to the moon and back with no damage from leaving and entering the Earth's atmosphere. Only his clothes were slightly burnt. He even survived the harsh conditions of outer space unscathed during his brief time on the moon. It's been shown that despite the dangers of holding one's breath in space, Saitama can do so with no negative effects on his body. Saitama also prefers to dodge or block attacks using edged weapons, rather than take them head-on, as he sometimes does with strikes from fists or blunt objects. However, when he does take them dead-on, the object usually breaks or is destroyed, as with the case of Speedosonic's sword. Nyan's superpowered claw strikes, which can cut buildings in half, were also shown to have no effect against Saitama's head. Enhanced lung capacity. Although Saitama can't breathe in space, he has considerable control over his breath. Even in outer space, Saitama managed to hold his breath effortlessly, and he even made a jump back to the Earth from the moon in seconds with no signs of suffocation. Vacuum adaptation. Saitama's body has been shown to survive in the vacuum of space unscathed for at least a brief period of time. Several factors like a lack of atmosphere and increased exposure of radiation are at play here, although Saitama wasn't affected by any of them. Temperature immunity. Saitama is immune to all types of temperature-based attacks. In fact, he's immune to the effects of temperature in general. When Genus created a huge spherical blast of flame to kill Mosquito Girl's mosquitoes, Saitama remained standing next to him unperturbed and completely unharmed, although his clothes were destroyed. Saitama was unharmed by the intense heat effects caused by atmospheric re-entry after being kicked to the moon by Boros. He's also been shown to be unaffected by Monster King Orochi's fire-based attacks, which could even melt rocks or solid substances. Saitama was also able to withstand Withered Sprout's freezing attacks, which were capable of incapacitating one C-class hero, one B-class hero, and one A-class hero with ease. The attacks were so strong that the A-class hero Smile Man thought them to be on par with the likes of a dragon-level monster. This ability can be attributed to Saitama refusing to use either the air conditioner or heater during his training. Pain suppression. Before gaining his overwhelming power, Saitama was still able to suppress pain. This has been shown on numerous occasions dating all the way back to his days as a middle school student, taking a beating from 2 upperclassmen and, later, a wolf-level monster Piggy Bankin. He then got back up when the bullies couldn't and chased after the monster for his money. Other similar feats include taking strikes from Crablante and personification of a light pull cord during his training as an adult, among others. Expert hand-to-hand combat. Despite having no formal training, Saitama is a very proficient and adept hand-to-hand combatant. Thanks to many fights with monsters and villains during his training, he's got a lot of fighting experience and developed a good deal of fighting skills. Due to his immeasurable power and boredom, he doesn't usually care about techniques and makes use of flawed basic attacks. His combat skills allowed him to defeat many criminals and monsters even before gaining his immeasurable power. His fighting style is, unlike the likes of Garo, Bang, Bomb, and Suryu, quite simple but solid when backed with his immeasurable power. He can easily read, counter, and strike moves and techniques from fighters with far more experience and training than him. Even Suryu, a skilled martial artist, commented on his fighting prowess during their fight, noting that he had real fighting experience. He is also able to skillfully combine his superhuman abilities to overwhelm his opponents and even use the environment around him to his benefit. He also uses karate chops and grappling moves to take down villains he doesn't want to kill, or just to knock out people who pick on him. Improvisation. Saitama is very proficient with improvised weapons, such as when he killed his first monster by deftly using his tie to grab the monster's eye and tear out his intestines. He's proficient at improvising in general. Whenever he can't solve a fight with a punch or directly can't punch his foe, he always comes to a solution with one way or another and uses very unique moves that are supported by his immeasurable power. Extremely high accuracy. Saitama seems to have almost perfect precision since anytime he focuses on a target, he always strikes it. He's able to turn a rock into a deadly projectile that hits its target, as shown when he killed Geryuganshu. He had no trouble landing directly on Boros' ship from the moon, even though the angle to return to Earth was extremely small, leaving very little room for error. Keen perception. Saitama is amazingly good at reading people's fears and real motives with just a look, as well as the reason why they are how they are. He proves this many times by reading people like Fubuki and Glasses. He also quickly finds out about King's Lie, but decides to keep it a secret. However, he's usually only good at this when he gets serious. Strong teeth. In one of his fights with Sonic, the latter attacks him with a sword, which the caped Baldy replies via biting and destroying said sword with no effort. Intimidation. While he doesn't seem particularly scary, those who know his abilities show fear of him. Saitama can emit a powerful aura, which makes his foes tremble and become pressured, as Sonic and Genos were left amazed and terrified by his aura. Saitama is able to invoke fear in those he dislikes or who bother him by merely threatening them. Indomitable Will. Saitama has been shown to possess incredible willpower. It's most evident in the flashback to his hero training regime. Even if he was in great pain, or could barely move, or vomited blood, he continued his training. Through sheer willpower and effort, he removed his natural limiter. Non-physical interaction. One example of his strength-defying normal logic is when he broke a hole into the Phoenix space, a spiritual realm that only exists within Phoenix Man's bird costume. This suggests that Saitama can even interact with things that are intangible and non-physical. Normal series. Saitama's normal series consists of techniques in which he puts very little effort into attacking. Even though his attacks are loosely in the style, most opponents tend to be finished off easily due to Saitama's tremendous strength and speed. Normal punch. Saitama punches his opponent. That's it. Even though Saitama puts very little to no effort in his punch, it's still strong enough to kill almost every opponent, including dragon-level threats, blowing apart their bodies, crushing their skulls and bones, or even beheading them. When facing humans, however, Saitama holds back greatly, only using enough strength to knock them out. Consecutive normal punches. Saitama launches a volley of quick, single-handed punches from his right hand. These blows are powerful enough to blow strong or large body types apart into pieces. Depending on the power of the attack, this technique can occur in an instant. Serious series. In Serious series, Saitama still attacks without putting in much effort, but Saitama's face looks more serious when he performs Serious series attacks. Saitama doesn't actually consider these moves to be anything special. Serious punch. Saitama throws an extremely powerful punch. The full extent of this attack is unknown, as it's never directly hit an opponent. It was so powerful that it completely negated Boros' collapsing star roaring cannon, a beam capable of wiping out an entire planet. The shockwave from the punch alone was powerful enough to part the clouds on a global scale, as well as deliver the final fatal blow to Boros. The dying Boros also declared that Saitama's fatal attack on him wasn't even anywhere near Saitama's true power, and that Saitama was still holding back. Saitama also used this move to completely annihilate and disintegrate Elder Centipede, a dragon-level threat and one of the biggest monsters in the series. Serious side hops. Saitama rapidly hops from side to side, creating a wall of afterimages. He's able to walk forward while doing so, and the shockwaves caused by it were enough to easily rip through Speedosound Sonic's 10 Shadows Burial. Did you enjoy our video? Be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.